Hello, and welcome to the Connecticut Lieutenant Governor's Coding Challenge info session. We appreciate you taking the time to view this, and hopefully with this answer some of your questions about mentoring with the challenge and supporting. So first, I want to introduce myself. My name is Michael English, and I am a regional manager with the Microsoft Teals program. I am helping support the Lieutenant Governor's Coding Challenge this year, along with Jennifer Michaelek from the Connecticut State Department of Education, Ellen Savard from the Girl Scouts of Connecticut, Norrin Somheimer from UMass Amherst, and Matt Muravis from Skills 21. So first, I'd like to start out with the why. So why we were doing this is because there's a gap in computer science education. 60% of all new jobs in STEM are in computing. The computing jobs are the #1 source of new wages in the US. But only 67% of Connecticut high schools teach computer science, and students who stand the most to gain from CS are even less likely to have access. So those in underserved communities are less likely to have access to computer science education and rigorous computer science opportunities. In 2018, 564 individuals graduated from universities in computer science in Connecticut. So when you compare that to the number of job offerings in Connecticut in computing, there's a large disparity there. So with the Connecticut Lieutenant Governor's Coding Challenge, we look to expose students from a variety of age ranges to computing at an early age, so that, if we can expose students to computing, give them opportunities to participate in coding challenges like this, we can spark their interest in computer science, leading them towards pathways in CS and career pathways in the innovation space. So what is the Connecticut Lieutenant Governor's Coding Challenge? It's a statewide coding competition for Connecticut students. This challenge is inspired by the work of the Governor's Council on Women and Girls, the subcommittee on education and STEAM. The Coding for Good Challenge is to be open to all students who can enter on their own or as a team through their schools and through informal education partners. The challenge was officially announced on January 25th and will formally launch on February 25th. So we've launched already, but we are accepting submissions through April 30th, 2021. So still a lot of time in the challenge left and a lot of time to mentor folks through this program. Connecticut students in grades 3 through 12 are encouraged to create applications designed to spread messages of positivity and tackle important issues or promote healthy habits. There's 3 different challenge levels, and these are an attempt to reach students with different degrees of experience and different backgrounds in programming. So we don't want to limit the opportunity to students that have a lot of exposure or limit it to students that are just getting their feet wet, trying to reach a range of students across different grade bands. So the concept challenge is the kind of entry point for students that don't have a lot of programming experience. So it's a great project idea with complementary audio-visual component, no programming experiences required. The prototype challenge is for students with some exposure to CS. They'll build a partially functioning prototype with the concept behind it. And the highest level is the development challenge. So in the development challenge, students will build a fully functioning project that users can integrate and that users can engage with. So to go a little bit deeper into what each challenge is, we'll start with the concept challenge. Students will identify a societal problem or issue, propose a viable coding solution, and this will really be ideation only, no coding or development. So this is more of a application planning, really trying to dig into the problems itself and find a way to solve the problem with technology. The way students will submit their projects is through a Google form. So what that submission will comprise of is a few written responses to the prompts, as well as an audiovisual walkthrough of a paper prototype or a computer prototype of their application. The prototype challenge, this is where we kind of get a little bit deeper and expand out a little bit more fully what the student's idea is. So the expectation is still that students will identify a societal problem or issue and propose a viable coding solution. However, they'll develop a prototype or a proof of concept to go along with that. So students now will submit their work through Launchpad, and there's a way to do that and a link to do that. But students will create a development plan, which will include a flow chart, storyboard, wireframe, all these things that show how their app will work and how it will function for users to interact with it. They'll create a prototype that'll have a user interface with a minimum of one programmed working feature. So, something that people can click around with and really interact with to get a sense for what the program or app will look like. There'll also be a video that goes along with it, showing how the app will work, and some written responses. So a little bit more robust of a submission for the prototype challenge. And finally, we'll get to the development challenges. As I mentioned before, the highest level of the challenge here. So the expectation, just as with the other challenges, remains the same, that students will identify a societal problem or issue and design a viable coding solution. But then they'll go further and develop their working coding solution. So they'll create a fully functioning application, and they'll have the option to work with a mentor, hopefully someone like you. So how they'll submit it is also through Launchpad, just as with the prototype challenge. There'll be some written responses along with the video walking through how someone would use the application, as well as with the program code itself, and optionally sending along the working application. So a lot about the challenge, but none so far about the mentoring ask. So what we're looking for is mentors like yourself to work directly with educators, not students, 1 to 3 hours per week. So what you'll be doing is really guiding educators as they go through this. Many of the educators that we're working with aren't computer science professionals or don't have computer science backgrounds. So they're looking for a little bit of guidance on how to push their students and support them as they work on this challenge. Educators will need support with how to facilitate brainstorming sessions with their students, helping students identify solutions, guiding students towards a programming language or development platform, and supporting students with programming. Students will be using a number of different languages depending on the level of the challenge. So as I mentioned, the first level of challenge, students won't need to program at all, but the highest level of the challenge, students will actually be building a fully fledged app. So depending on what level they're at and what stage in the development process they're at, we'll need volunteers with both programming experience and different, say project management or different stages of the project development process. So no matter what your background is, if you work in tech, we can definitely use your support, and there's definitely a way that you can support teachers as they go through this. So just because this is a recording and not, you don't have the opportunity to ask questions live, I'm just going to go through a few frequently asked questions that we've gotten about the challenge and just address them quickly. So will you be working with students? No. So as I mentioned, you'll be working with the facilitators who work with students, instructing them on best practices for guiding their students through the process. So, you'll help out facilitators as they learn, best design cycle or design process frameworks, figuring out which wireframing tools would be best for students to use to realize their projects, and different ways to point students towards different IDEs or different programming languages that would be best for their students to create these projects. What is the time commitment? So you meet with adult facilitators 1 to 3 hours per week, and you can schedule it on your own time. So as long as you have 1 to 3 hours per week extra, you can always fit this into your schedule as works best for you. Do I need a background check? You will not need to submit a background check because you're not going to be working directly with students. So we'll make this process a little bit more streamlined, a little bit easier for you. Any special training? Your experience in tech is above and beyond. We're really, as I mentioned before, looking for content experts that'll be able to guide the facilitators to support their students best. And what is the timeline? So the challenge will be opening and accepting submissions through April 30th. So, you can expect to at least go through April 30th and towards the end of April. So where do you meet your mentees? Because of the current state of the pandemic, we're doing everything over Zoom, Teams, whatever your software, video conferencing software of choice is. And if you do choose to meet with your mentee in person, that'll be your own choice, and we ask that you do abide by the state guidelines for that and be safe as you're working through there. But there's no requirement that you meet anybody in person, and we hope that you're being safe with that. And then is this one-on-one mentoring, or will you be facilitating in a group? So in most cases, you'll meet with one facilitator who may be responsible for one or more students. It's possible that there are a few mentees from a particular organization that would like to share the mentor time. So you may work with several. In addition, the provided policies of the organization are followed. A mentee may ask that you present to the group of students under their direction. So you may be asked to guest speak with their mentees, but you can only do so in the presence of your mentee that is certified and background checked to work with students. Under no circumstances without a background check and consent of all the students that you would be able to meet with the students without your adult mentee present. So what are the next steps? If you are interested in making a lasting impact on students and mentoring through this program, the first step is to apply online. So I've shared the link to the Google form there. And because this is a recording, this is a great time to pause the recording and type that link into the browser. We'll also have this link available on the website, so you can find it there. And then help us spread the word. If you have colleagues, friends, family that are also in tech or have a passion for technology, please help us spread the word and share about this opportunity with them. We would love to have more mentors supporting the program and really try to grow this to impact the greater Connecticut community. You can go ahead and learn more at the website here, or contact me at michael.e@tlsk12.org. Thank you so much for your time, and we hope you decide to support us. Okay.